A very good morning and welcome to our Wednesday reflection. The reflection today is based on a proverb from the Book of Proverbs at chapter 10. The tongue of the righteous is choice silver. The mind of the wicked is of little worth. It could be said that all of that is of the true essence of God, love, grace, compassion, mercy, the encouragement to concord and fellowship, is like electricity that flows best when the conduit is a perfect conductor like pure copper or silver. Impurity in silver or copper makes a poor conductor that prevents a true flow of electrons within the metal's atoms. Impurity in the soul of humanity could be argued to frustrate and prevent the loving will of God from flowing. Impurity in a person perhaps could be seen as a thrombosis of worldly matters which prevents living out God's love. We all know the dangers of thrombosis in medicine. It threatens life itself. In humanity, the impurity of the thrombosis of pride prevents the worth in humanity reaching our giving parts of tongue and of heart and of hands. Pride of self makes us worthless, narrow judges of others rather than their rescue and care. How we might be changed to purify our souls to love as God in Jesus is a divine nudging exercise. Actually, in the book of Revelation, it is Jesus persistently knocking at a door which we are reluctant to open. Perhaps the knocking or nudging is a friend who jolts us and quietly asks us to reflect on our camel humps of pride and self which do down others. For King David in the Old Testament, it was Nathan, his trusted counselor and lifelong friend, who was able to jolt King David to see his evil ways. The nudge or knocking was Nathan, sensing God urging him to save his friend from self-destruction and instead flow goodness and mercy. It seems God can invade our personal space to save and rescue in amazingly intimate and unique ways which are magnificent and awesome. The Holy Bible is a catalogue of divine interventions and rescues. And in Jesus, the Son of Man, the Son of God, it is explosively manifest in his loving sacrifice on a cross. In that moment of revelation of God's grace, our cage of worthlessness and hopelessness is truly rattled, and our souls are awakened to strive to become the tongue of choice silver, the free giver of love and life. The realization that our God reigns in Jesus is a step in faith that sets a process in train, a spirit-driven event which unclogs our resistance to change our lives to live a love as God wills and not as we want. The Apostle Paul intimated that humanity has a rubbish bin of impurity, which is a resistance to flow freely God's goodness. You cannot really express the feelings when you feel when God intervenes in your life so greatly. When I spoke to a lady I vaguely knew who wanted to know more of my coming to faith, she expressed that she felt shivers down her spine as I spoke the good news of a soul freed by the Holy Spirit to flow grace rather than be clogged up by the rubbish and clutter of self. The truth of faith does, however, present a worldly life challenge to perfect our well-being. So we strive to trip ourselves up less and less, and rather discover bit by bit how to live, love, and give by the Spirit for the benefit of others and the glory of God. Like a body that works best with a regime of good eating and exercise, the practice of grace requires constant attention and is a habitual spiritual workout of prayer and reflection, which allows us to become tuned into the will of God and living out the joy and beauty of his love, however challenging that might be. Faith poses the ultimate of questions. Can we fully drink the cup of Christ? In striving to do so, we may well be confronted by hard places such as Gethsemane and Golgotha. But what is the point of being clogged up, living a worthless, insular life, when in purity of the Spirit we can flow grace and be so much a good cause for others? The hymn for today's reflection is John Marriott's "Thou whose almighty word chaos and darkness heard." It rings repeatedly of there being divine grace of intervention, of rescue, that brings light where there is but darkness and worthlessness. Have a wonderful week, and God bless.